Hi, Bruce.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Vany. How are
Hello there.
you?
I'm okay. I'm just sitting here in Curitiba. We made it out of Mexico, which was great.
Okay, okay. It's an honor to have you with us. Thank you so much, so much. And let's start that's a conversation with the questions about your last solo album. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is your seventh album solo, the first since 2005. It's a long time. What has motivated you to release this album now?
Well, if in an ideal world, I would have released it about 5 years ago. But in the interval, we had COVID and everything else, so I wasn't allowed to go to America to finish the record because of COVID for 3 years. So that delayed everything. And the album was delayed before that because I had throat cancer for a year, and that was a whole year. So there were lots of things that interfered with the album. But actually, now it's out. I think it probably was improved by waiting a little bit longer and getting it right. Um, so you know, I think one thing I learned during uh, COVID was that there's a real advantage to having some quiet time in your life, some stillness where you can think, because if you're so busy that a lot of times you think you're being creative, but actually you're not. You're just redoing old stuff and old habits, and you're busy, but you're not busy doing anything creative. Um, so that realization and I think just a lot of the lyrics were not finished, so that was great. I had opportunities to do that, develop some of the songs, come up with some of the you know interesting additions to the to the songs. I mean, so for example, going in with all that like Eastern sort of with the djembe, like Eastern Moroccan type stuff on one track, chucking in little nylon Spanish guitars and things like that on Facing the Mirror, uh, adding a bunch of vocals in songs that we already had that we thought, oh, we can revisit this stuff, and doing Afterglow of Ragnarok and Many Doors to Hell as two completely new songs gave us a way of reinvigorating the older material that we already had. We could look at it through the lens, if you like, of this new stuff that we'd done. So it worked, actually, delaying it. Would it have been better doing it earlier? Well, maybe, but that's just the way life is.
Great. And what message do you want to convey to your solo workers, to your audience?
There's no specific message. The message is whatever you see in the tunes, whatever people get from it. Yeah, I know people get stuff from it because they tell me on social media and they say that they get very emotional during the show and everything. So that's great. That's all you can hope for, is that people get something out of what you're doing. What it is they get, I don't know, because I'm not them. That's the beauty of music, is people can get different things from the same song and see things in different ways because it comes at a point in their life, or it helps them out, or just so there's lots and lots of different things, so that I'm not preaching like some like political message or stuff like that, far from it.
Okay. In the song Immortal Beloved, you said you recorded and improved it in lyrics in one take. Uh, what is the something for new for you? How do you typically approach your creative process?
um i uh I find it difficult to create when I'm very busy. because your brain is too busy doing, you know, the things you have to do, like, you know, doing, oh, I've got to pack my bag, I've got to go do this, I've got to go and catch the plane, then I've got to go and do a rehearsal and a sound check, but there's no space for creativity in that. So I need to almost observe myself like in the third person and realize, oh, here's a moment when you're having a little kind of like a little daydream or something, and just hold that thought, you know. So I wait for things to happen, and in a way that, so what I'm trying to do is make my daydream, if you like, a reality, or more real than reality. And then that's when I get an idea to make a song or a lyric or something else like that. It's kind of similar to what children do, but they do it naturally because nobody told them you have to stop doing that. But as we grow up, our brain gets organized and it tells us to stop doing that and stop behaving like that. You know, you know, you need to know that you use a knife and fork in a particular way to eat food. Kids don't know that. They do everything. They do everything wrong. But they're creative with it, of course, you know.
Okay. The Mandrake Project extends far beyond the boundaries of the recently released album. Could you elaborate on the various facets or ranks of this multifaceted project?
Yeah. So there was a very simple story 10 years ago that went with the album. At this point, the album wasn't called the Mandrake Project. It was called If Eternity Should Fail. And I was going to do one comic book with the album, and it would be, the comic book and the album would be very close together. Very, you know, it would be almost like a script for the album. Anyway, then throat cancer, then COVID, and then I had a lot of time to write. So I started developing the comic book. And I realized that the comic book actually had a life that was going to go on for 3 years. So there were 12 episodes, each one 34 pages. So that's like doing an album every 3 months, you know, because you've got to come up with the art, come up with the script, then, you know. So it became very exciting. At the same time, the album has points of contact with the comic book, but it's not attached. You know, you don't need to read the comic book to enjoy the album. Far from it. But if you read the comic book and you get the album, you'll enjoy both probably a little bit more, because there are little things that are going into the comic book which people will recognize as having been in the album, or even stuff from earlier albums and earlier lyrics that I've done, because all of this stuff that I create all comes from the same fountain, if you like. So you don't just create something in a vacuum. It exists alongside all these other things. And sometimes you don't even realize what you were doing until, you know, a few years later, and you look back and go, oh, I see what was going on there, you know. So yeah, that's how that's how the thing becomes multifaceted. That's the word you use, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Great. Many of your songs in Iron Maiden are inspired by works of literature or
Yeah.
cinema,
Yeah.
such as Children of the Damned and The Longest Day. In your new solo work, do you also use literary references? Would you like to mention any of them specifically for us?
Yum, 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 yum. There, there really, there really aren't any. So that not I mean, there are literary influences, and but there's no book or legend or anything else like that that I've borrowed. You know, although there's a lot of mythology surrounding some of the songs, some of the language I use. There's a lot of imagery from the occult, from the tarot. Um, there's a few bits of Shakespeare in there as well. There's a bit of William Blake, quite a lot of William Blake, if not in the physical lyrics, but in the inspiration and the attitude behind the creation process. You know.
Do you consider yourself first and foremost a storyteller?
It's taken me years to realize that, but that's basically all I am. And because I mean, I can, I can yell in a very particular way, which some people classify as singing. But that means that, you know, I can tell my stories in that style because I sing in that style. But you know, other things I'm doing, you know, the comic is storytelling, and you know, when I wrote my autobiography, it was storytelling. I mean, that's exactly what it was. I did a one-man show, um, storytelling. So I suddenly went, hang on a minute, what you actually are is a storyteller, but just through different mediums. So the important thing is it a good story?
Yeah. And next month, in the Mandrake Project tour comes to Brazil. Kiss FM is the exclusive media partner at this concert. What can your fans expect from the concert in the Mandrake Project?
Oh, wow. Well, we are having so much fun on stage. I mean, it's amazing to play with musicians who are more than half my age. Less than half my age. No, yeah, exactly. No, less than half my age. So the energy and the enthusiasm is just off the chart. I mean, we've been learning new songs, and we just throw them into the set and go, yeah, let's do this one tonight. You know, whereas, you know, a lot of bands, you know, because they have a big show and fireworks and monsters, like, you know, Maiden, for example, we don't change the set around, you know, every night. But with this project, we do. So, you know, people who come to Curitiba to see the show, the people the next night in Porto Alegre are going to get a different show. And it's interesting for us. It keeps us on our toes musically. I've got for the first time in Brazil, I've got some stuff to put on screen. So I think we're going to have screens behind us. So I've developed a load of material, some of it quite out there, for the back, because we don't play to a time code or a click track. We don't use tapes, you know, we're backing tapes and all that crap. You know, we're actually musicians who play the real thing. So if we're excited, we play a little bit faster.
Wow.
So I mean, we look at each other, you know, we go, you know, oh, should we stop now? Yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, you know, or should we start now? 1, 2, 3, boom, let's go. We look at each other, we play off each other, you know, it's that old school stuff. And the way the stage is, I designed it so it's deliberately different to you know, the normal thing where it's all about having a, you know, massive drum kit right in the middle. Well, we've got a pretty big drum kit, but it actually, but it can be heavy and it can be beautiful as well. We play Navigate the Seas of the Sun, which shocked us when we first played it, because we've never played it. I've never played that song live, and we did it. We've done it 3 times now, and each time I've been shocked at the reaction. It's a real emotional reaction to that song. It's beautiful, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you like to share a message with your friends who are
Yes.
tuning to the Kiss FM
Yeah.
right now? Please.
Yeah. Like just life is amazing, all right, and we are living it. And come and experience a bit of our life with us at the shows, and hopefully you feel a bit more alive at the end of it. We won't. We'll be feeling a bit more dead, but you'll be feeling more alive.
Yeah. Bruce, thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Kiss.